Hey you guys, how's it going? I want to welcome you guys back to the channel. I have missed you guys so much, but I am so happy that I think I'm in the position to where I'm back now. I'm hoping that everything's going good and we can get this thing going again. There is a lot that has happened since the last time I did a video. The baby, I wanted to give you guys a quick update on her. She just had a birthday. She turned 1. She's doing great. Also, maybe about 3 weeks ago, I fell and I broke my wrist. And, well, I broke it and shattered it in 2 places. So, I'm hoping I'm in a cast now. So, I'm hoping maybe in about 4 or 5 weeks it can come off. I They thought that they were going to have to do surgery. They still may have to do surgery. They're going to do x-rays again in 3 weeks to see if I do or not. But I'm hoping that I don't need surgery. Nobody has time for that. I know I don't. But I did want to get into this P Diddy case, what's going on with him. I want to give you guys my take on it and then maybe discuss it in the comment section. Have a discussion, what you guys think. Maybe if we get some time, if you guys all, if I have enough people that want to do it, we can go live and we can discuss it further during the live and have some people come up and give their thoughts on it during a live video one time here soon. Just let me know in the comment section what you guys think about that idea. But other than that, we can definitely have a conversation about that, about the trial in the comment section here, and we can all give our thoughts and what we think is going, what we think is going to happen, give our opinion. So I just want to ask you guys real quick, since I haven't made a video in quite a while. I want you guys to make sure that you guys are still subscribed. If you can, like the video and comment in the comment section, and that really helps me out. From the looks of it, looks like P Diddy has aged incredible, like years since he's been arrested. We are finishing week 2, and then I believe they're going to start week 3 after Memorial Day holiday on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, they're going to start week 3 of the trial. So far, and I'm just going to read this to you, and this is coming from AP, U.S. News. I'll read this article, and then I'll discuss it and give my opinion on what I think. And it is just my opinion, and we all have our opinions on how we think this trial is going to end, what we think, if he's going to be found guilty, if he's going to be, maybe he might be found guilty on the, abuse charges, maybe not the racketeering, maybe he will get the racketeering charges, who knows. This is all speculation. These are all our opinions, what we think, but based on what you know about the trial, you give your opinion based on what you know so far. And that's all I can do. That's all you can do. We can just give our opinion. Maybe some people don't agree with my opinion. Maybe some people don't agree with your opinion. But that's okay. We're all here and we all have an opinion. We all have a right to give our opinion. So I'll go ahead and read this. Jurors heard from a dozen witnesses during a second week of testimony in the Sean Diddy, we can call him P Diddy, Combs trial, as prosecutors sought to prove sex trafficking and said, instead of some of these words, I'm going to kind of use like other words for it, but you'll know what I'm talking about because, for the purpose of YouTube, we have to keep it, you know. So, and racketeer, okay. And then the rapper and actor Kitty Cuddy was on the witness stand. So was singer Don Richard, formerly of the group Danity Kane. And there were, Cassie she has testified too. There was a ex worker that also did testify. He was so messed up that by the time they got done with him, he couldn't perform anymore. So, but yeah, and he was being paid, of course. And so we have people that testified too that work for Diddy. And I think it was two people. And those two people, they were given immunity where they, no matter what they say on there, even if it goes, even if they tell on themselves, they're not going to get prosecuted. So the whole point of being able to charge somebody with a RICO charge, it seems to me, from what my understanding is, that it's not an individual thing. It has to be like a group or an organization, like mafia, for an example. It's a group of criminal activities, a group of people that have committed, but if they're giving other people immunity, how is it adding up to RICO charges? And then so far, from what I've been able to figure out or understand from the trial and the testimonies that have happened so far, is that they are proving that he's a slime bag. They're proving that he's an abuser. You know what I mean. That he hurt. We'll say hurt instead of the abuse. The other word. He hurt Cassie a lot. And in many of, they showed the text and everything, and it seemed like she initiated some of the, where she was like, hey, are we ready for a freak off, or what's going on with that, and some of these texts that between her and P Diddy. Now, are they gonna, I think how they're trying to prove a RICO case is that she didn't want that. She did not want, and I'm sure she didn't. I'm sure she was not happy doing this all the time. I mean, who would be? But on the other hand, that she did want to kind of do it because she wanted to keep him happy. She was in love with him. And so I think they're going to have a hard time. I really do, in my opinion, because based on everything I've seen so far, they can prove that he abused her. They can they can prove that he was not a good person at all. He was slimy, nasty, and did some freaky things. They can prove all that. But are they going to be able to prove that, all the other stuff? Like, are they going to have people, and it's still early. We have to wait and see who else is going to be testifying. Are they going to have people come in there and say, yeah, he used this drug and that drug, and he drugged me, and he did this and that and this and that to me? If not, then how are they? I don't know. How are they going to prove it? But it seems to me, based on what they have so far, they're paying for the prostitution. They're paying for that for their own sexual, actual needs. They're having these freak off things, but does that prove RICO? And that is the question. It's already been proven beyond a doubt that he's a freak. He's disgusting. He's a abuser. You know what I mean? He's a horrible person. So, let's see. Yeah, and then the person, there was one worker, let's see, George Kaplan, a personal assistant for Combs from 2013 to 2015, told jurors he tossed out liquor bottles and drugs and cleaned up baby oil. Baby oil is something, is a whole different thing, okay? From Combs' hotel room after the music producer finished freak-offs. He said he never reported abuse, that word, to authorities, even after Combs beat up Cassie on a private jet. Another personal assistant, David James, testified that Combs had him stock hotel rooms with Viagra, condoms, baby oil, and lubricant, among other supplies. He also recounted how Combs had 3 handguns on his lap as they drove to Los Angeles diner looking for his record industry rival, Death Row Records co-founder Suge Knight. Then we had Cassie's mom, who also testified. And from what other, there was other YouTubers that actually went to this trial, and they said that she was not happy. She was not happy having to sit there in front of this nasty man who hurt her daughter, and he at one point she had to pay him $20,000. So Cassie briefly dated Kid Cudi during a period of time when it looked like she might split with Combs. But I'm going to tell you something. She was, I think, in my opinion, from how everything went down in trial, and from what I'm figuring out from other content creators, is that she was playing both of them. She didn't want Diddy to know about Cudi, and she didn't want Cudi to know about P Diddy, because Cudi was already thinking that she was done with P Diddy, and she was lying to him. She was lying to both of them. And so, her mom, Cassie's mom, Regina Ventura, testified that she felt physically sick after her daughter sent her an email saying Combs had learned about the relationship with Cudi and planned to retaliate by releasing tapes of Cassie having Then Ventura said Combs contacted her and angrily demanded $20,000, saying he was owed it because he's spent money on Cassie's career. So he wanted paid back for everything he'd done for Cassie. Up to that point, he wanted reimbursed because he found out about Kid Cudi. Ventura tapped home equity to wire the money to Combs' business. Several days later, the money was returned. Yeah, so she went right back to him. Cassie did. Cassie went right back to P Diddy. And I'm sure Cassie made sure that her mom got reimbursed that money. But can you imagine? I mean, you're calling your mom to say, hey, if he's got tapes on her that he's threatening her with, and I'm sure he did, because even the ex-worker had stated that they would record some of these things. And so, the freak-off. So, I don't know. This whole thing is a whole mess. And, I've been having some popcorn while I'm listening to this trial update and what is going on, because you cannot make this stuff up. This stuff, and then the baby oil. Oh my gosh. I mean, he's one nasty person. He is so nasty. I'm sorry. He is nasty. So, here we go. Let's move on with the next one. Kid Cudi testified about a break-in and a fire-bombed car. So, Kid Cudi testified Thursday that Cassie sounded very stressed, nervous, and just scared when she phoned him in December of 2011 to say that Combs had learned they were dating. Cudi said he was confused because he thought Combs and Cassie had broken up. And so you see how this is working out for the prosecutor, but it's also kind of playing in the defense, for the defense side as well. Every one of these people that have testified has somehow been able to help the defense side as well. Like by Cudi saying that, he thought that Combs and Cassie had broken up. They're trying to prove that Cassie is, a little loose. And and trying to play both people, if you know what I mean. And I believe the defense is trying to discredit Cassie as if, Cassie was a part of this. She was dating other people while dating Combs, and just trying to put her in a bad light. So some of these testimonies are also working for the defense side too. Then he said one of Combs' assistants called. She said Combs and an aide were in Cudi's home waiting to speak with him. She also said she had been forced into a car to join them. Cudi said he raced to his house, but Combs was gone. Inside, he testified he found Christmas gifts had been opened and his dog was locked in the bathroom after the break-in. His dog was very jittery and kind of on edge all the time, he said. So yeah, they probably drugged the dog. Then someone set fire to Cudi's car, destroying it. Cudi said he met with Combs to squash their beef the next day at a Los Angeles hotel. When he walked in, he said Combs was staring out the window, standing with his hands behind his back like a Marvel supervillain. Combs denied having anything to do with the burnt car, but Cuddy said he didn't believe him. Well, I mean, I wouldn't believe him either. Okay. And then I think they have proof, I guess later on, that the prosecutor had told him, or the defense had, when they questioned him, they asked him, do you recall that the police were able to lift some DNA from your car, and it was found that there was a woman's fingerprints found, or DNA. And he said no. He said that he wasn't aware of that. So that kind of proves that there was a female who likely set his car on fire. So this could be someone who, some people say it could be Cassie, maybe. Did he made her do it? It could be somebody, an ex-jilted lover. Who knows? But it came out to be that it was a female DNA or fingerprints or. And so then we have singer Dawn Richards. She tells of threats. If you know what I mean. I can't say that word. She tells of threats. The first witness of the week, Dawn Richards, got her big break in the music business as a cast member on Combs' reality TV show Making the Band. She performed with two Combs-backed acts, Danity Kane and Diddy, Dirty Money. But Richards said Combs threatened her life after she saw him beat Cassie and try to hit her with a skillet in 2009. Now, see, this is something that Cassie, she never even spoke of. She said she spoke of a lot of things during her testimony, but she never brought up that she was hit with a frying pan. So I guess she was making eggs, and Dawn said that she saw him pick up the frying pan and hit her with it. That's something I don't think anybody would forget. But then again, when you've had so many instances of where somebody has treated you that way so many times, you're not going to remember every single thing. But she said Combs told her and another woman that they could go missing if they didn't stay quiet. She said she saw Combs beat Cassie frequently. He would punch her, choke her, drag her, slap her in the mouth, she said. There was a friend of Cassie's, Carrie Morgan, who had testified as well, saying that she had a fallout with Cassie, her friend of 17 years, after Combs attacked her in a rage in 2018, demanding to know who Cassie was cheating on him with. Morgan said he swung... Oh, I'm so sorry about that background noise, guys. I do not know how to turn off my notifications, so it's making some noise there. Anyway, Morgan said that he had slung a hanger at her head and tried to choke her, leaving her dizzy, vomiting, and she's saying that she had fingerprints on her neck. This guy is a nutcase, she wanted to sue P Diddy, but then she had met with Cassie at a pizza parlor where Cassie had her sign a non-disclosure agreement in return for $30,000, she said. But then she said, Cassie told me she thought I was milking it, that I was over exaggerating. And then she said they haven't spoke since then. So that's why I'm kind of, I'm on the fence about Cassie, because this girl has endured years of abuse. But, I did a video a while back, and a lot of people didn't like what I had to say. But now it's starting to come out where what I said during that video, it was kind of the truth. You have these young girls who they're wanting, they are looking for a guy to take care of them. And I'm not saying this is the case for Cassie, but I'm saying, and there's, this way for men too. Somebody, it could be anybody. They're looking for somebody to take care of them. And a lot of times in those situations, that person has control over you. You have allowed them to control you because you've exchanged your freedom for what they're giving you. And in exchange, you're allowing this person, hey, you know what? I control your finances. I control your career. I control if you can drive your car or not, because I own it. I'm just letting you use it. I'm saying it's yours, and it's not really yours, but I'm making you think it's your car. And you have credit cards that I gave to you, and a lot of times these abusers will give this stuff to you because that's how they control you. And so once you get in so deep, they got you. They control every single thing you do. If you act up, they can take your car. If you act up, they can take your phone. If you act up, they're going to take your house. If you can literally go from having everything one day to having nothing. Everything is in this person's hand, how I'm going to live from day to day. And she allowed herself to be put in that situation that a man could control her like that. And so, you don't ever give anybody that much power over you. Ever. But she did, because she believed that he was going to really do this for her career, that he was going to put her on top, and he never did. And she was willing to say, okay, I'm going to allow this to continue so I can keep what I have. Because, and that does not mean that there was no abuse, or he did abuse her in more than one way. He abused her financially, in so many different ways. But she participated in many things in order to be able to keep her whatever she has. And what she should have probably done is just went back and stayed with her mom or her family, and not have been, but then again, there's so many situations of where women stay in a situation like this, and they participate, they agree to certain things because of the money. And I believe strongly that everybody is responsible for their own actions, honestly. And he's responsible for how he treated her. She's responsible because she stayed in there for so long. She kept going back. I know that there's a reason why they keep going back, and just what we just discussed. It's the control that this person has over you, and that control is a very hard thing to get out of. It's really hard to, you know, pick yourself up and say, okay, I'm gonna do this on my own. I don't need this person. If I have to live on the streets, it has to be better than staying in this situation. And I'm going to tell you because, you know, I've been in that situation where if you give somebody too much power over you and that you let them control your home, you let them control your life, you let them control your finances, and oh, don't work, you can stay home, then that person feels like they can treat you however they want to treat you. And that you'll stay because you have nowhere else to go. You're trapped, literally. But that's not true. You have to collect yourself, and you have to get up, and you have to make it, you have to find a way to survive. Even if you say, okay, I don't care, take my phone, take my home, take my car, I don't care. Anything is going to be better than having to sit and listen to you or put up with your abuse. Cassie never got to that point where she said that. She defended herself in that way and said, nobody's going to treat me that way. And it's sad because she endured years of that. And sometimes it takes a very strong person to stand up and say, nope, nobody's going to treat me like that. But sometimes when there's a whole lot of money involved and you think that somebody's going to build you up and build up your career, yeah, you know. So I lost my place here. Anyway, there was so many people that testified in this case so far, and I am looking forward to week 3. I want to see who else is going to be testifying, because so far these people, like this friend of Cassie, she wanted to sue Diddy, but Cassie, she did her friend dirty of 17 years for this man. She's the one. It's like, here's $30,000, to make up for what he did to you. And yeah, that I understand the friend breaking off her friendship and saying, you know what, you're not a friend. Because pretty much she's not. She was only there for Diddy. She only, in my opinion, she wanted to make Diddy happy. And she would choose Diddy. In my opinion, I believe that at that time, Cassie would have chosen Diddy over even her own mother. Well, we already seen that she had her mom have to pay $20,000 to this slime bag. And then she went right back to him. This girl, it seemed like, I don't know. There's a lot of things that she did too. There's a hotel manager that says Combs always left a costly mess. One of the last witnesses of the week was Frederick Zemmour. I guess that's how you say it. The general manager of Le Meritage, or whatever you call that, Beverly Hills in California. He revealed the Combs guest profile, noted that he always spills candle wax on everything and uses excessive amounts of oil. The profile instructed staff to place the room out of order upon departure for deep cleaning. That's so disgusting. And it says, please authorize an extra $1,000 when guest stays with us to cover any room damages, Combs guest profile said. Witnesses have testified that Combs liked to use candles and baby oil during freak-offs. He's just, Okay. So, Levity finds a place in a trial about violence. Despite the trial's serious subject matter, there has been a few light moments. On Thursday, Combs' former personal assistant, Kaplan, shared that his ex-boss loves applesauce. Combs nodded and smiled at Kaplan, recounted that he eats it on the side or on top of a lot of things. Cheeseburgers, defense attorney Mark asked, or cheeseburgers, he asked. And cheeseburgers being one of them, Kaplan said, as laughter broke out across the courtroom. So yeah, this trial is... it is very interesting. We are finding out a lot of things. But one thing that we are finding out is that so far, in my opinion, they have been able to prove that he's nasty. He's a freak. He's an abuser. That maybe he likes to blow up cars, allegedly. What else? He likes applesauce on everything. He likes a lot of baby oil. He likes to hire male prostitutes. There's a lot of things. A lot of things about this nasty man, okay? I thought Nature Boy was nasty. Okay, this man, he goes over the top over anybody I've ever seen. Okay, but the thing is, are they going to be able to prove the RICO? Does this prove RICO? That's what I want to know. This is what I want to discuss in the comments section. Let me know in the comments section if you think that all of these things that we know about Diddy, we know it proves a lot of things, but does it prove RICO? And do you think he had something to do with Pac's death? I honestly believe that he did. There's a lot of, there's word out there that he paid to have him offed. So leave in the comments section. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think he's going to get off? Do you think that he's not going to get off? Maybe he'll have to serve time for everything that he's done except for the RICO? Or do you think he's gone for a long time? That is the question. In my personal opinion, and this is just based on how I could my take of what I've seen. I believe, in my opinion, I believe Cassie would, if all of this could be over with right now, I believe Cassie would go back with Diddy right now in a heartbeat. I think she would. I think that I think she would choose that man over anybody. And I believe that years later, even after testifying, she would take him back. And that's just my opinion. Leave in the comment section. Give me your opinion. Let me know what you all think. And with that being said, God bless. Have a good day. And yeah, let's discuss it in the comment section.